I went to Revit City. I found a bench. I searched for a bench, and I'm looking for a bench that I can put in the back hall. And this one looks pretty good to me. So I'm trying to download it now. So we're going to open the file. We'll get this notice that says it was made in 2011. So we need to upgrade that to our current version. So we simply click on upgrade the model. Revit will open that bench family up, and then we just load it into our project. There's a few projects that Revit could load it into. It's asking us, and I want it into the class project, so I'll just say okay. And let's go to the first floor plan, and I want to put that bench right there. I'm going to hit the space bar, and fortunately, that bench fits there quite nicely. So let's see, just out of curiosity, is this a parametric bench? Meaning that we could make it larger or smaller, change the size of it, and it's not. All right, so what I really wanted to do was put in the floors. One of the things I thought was we'll extend this wall down to here, and then architecture, component. We're going to search for OP just for opening, and we'll put the 2'4" in there for now. The reason I put that archway in there is this is kind of a private space, and this is more of a public space in a house. So it'd be nice to have a transition, number one, but number two, I probably will have different floor types. Maybe not. But that would be a good place to put a transition of a floor type. But I think I'll bring the ceramic tile floor all the way around into all of this space. Anyway, architecture. Now we're going to go over to floor, which is here. Now we'll pick the ceramic tile, and that I think is 1.25 inches to the top. Let's see what that is made up of. We'll edit the type, and sure enough, the thickness is 1.25 inches. What do we have? We have, yeah, that isn't a section, that's fine. So we have the porcelain, which is a tile, which is a 1/2 inch thick. And then we have a concrete base, which is 3/4. So I was correct on the thickness of it. Relative to the first floor, I want the top of the material to be 1.25 inches above there. Now we'll simply, like an extrusion, we're going to sketch the perimeter. I was thinking that I might stop it there. Let's get lazy here, and we'll use the align tool to get it just right on those. Which means I'll come back and just clean that up a little bit. So what I'm doing is just going around to the face of the gypsum board, because this material would be put in after the gypsum board has been installed, which means that it wouldn't go any farther than the gypsum board. Helps to think about the sequence of assembly as to when would that be assembled. I'm just going all the way around to the face of the gypsum board in all the different rooms. We know it wouldn't go through the wall because it's installed, the tile is installed afterwards. Pause the recording here, but I might do something that's helpful. Someone. very repetitive. It's very simple. Now remember, I take the tile or the finished floor right up to the floor, to the wall, because someone might change the cabinetry later on in this house if it were really being constructed. And if they took out the existing cabinetry and didn't find tile all the way up to the wall, they might have a difficult time patching in new tile. It's that much additional expense. And now remember, I'm gonna hit this escape key, use the align tool just to get this. Well, actually, it would line up with the riser, which that's the tread. This is the riser. So it would line up with that. Here we can do that. Here we can do that. And I got lazy here too, so I'm just using the align tool. All right, so that looks good. Let's just say, okay, and see what happens. Look at that. There's my floor. So I think we'll make this carpeting. And I think, oh, let's make this carpeting too. We'll put carpeting in those two rooms. Architecture, floor. Let's see what we have. You should have carpeting, carpet finish. And let's just see how thick that is. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. That might be a little thin, but that means that 1/8 of an inch is, well, we want the top of the carpeting to be relative to the first floor level. Of course, you're the architect for your project, and you can put whatever material on the floors as a finished material that you want. Say okay. Look at that carpeting there. And we'll put carpeting in the office or library as well. That I think I can do with I'm going to go up to here with it. I was going to say I could do that with a rectangle. Now it defaults back to the last material that we selected, so it's still carpeting. It's going to do a rectangle, but I'm going to take the carpeting right up to the tile over here. And back to the beginning. Okay, and hit the green check mark. Save it while I'm looking at it, and I can see that I have my materials in there now. They seem to work pretty well. I don't know how to furnish this room. That might be a good idea to think about furnishing. Assume that the dining room table would be over here and the seating would be over here. So I'm going to put in a fireplace now. Architecture component. Let's see, FP, do we have a fireplace? Doesn't look like it, not if that's the, so we'll just go through. I might have to go back to Revit City. Scroll through your library, which is loaded on your template on your project. You have all of these items to select from. Doesn't look like there's a fireplace. So we'll go back to Revit City and we'll pick one. It's a wonderful source of let's see, what else do we have while we're looking here? Maybe I already have that table in there. Okay, we'll go back to what we were doing originally, which was trying to find, well, while we're doing it, here's that KitchenAid food mixer. Let's see how, let's put that at 3 feet above, and we'll just put that, interesting. I don't see it. So I'm going to use my section key to go through there and see why I'm not seeing that mixer. It is there on top of that. be able to see it. Let's use the align tool to actually put it right on the countertop. Back to the first floor plan. I don't see it, so we'll come down to this little reveal hidden elements and see if it's there, but it's not there either. So let's go back to that section and we'll click on it and see what it is. It is hovering over its furniture. Well, furniture is turned on also. So now I'm gonna, we can definitely see it here. I put my camera in, I should be able to see it here too. And sure enough, there it is. All right, so let's go back to the first, let's go VR for view range. I'm cutting through 3 feet. So that's my cut plane at 3 feet. I'm cutting through the house at 3 feet, but I can see everything all the way up to 9 feet and all the way down to the floor. Okay. I thought we could see it. When we first put it in anyway. Sometimes you worry about it. Now maybe it shows up in another view. Let's go to a different floor plan and see if it's there. Sure enough, it is. So what is this? This is furniture. So let's go back to there and say, it's there. I think we were on this one. Yeah, so apparently furniture is not, possibly not. So VG for visibility graphics, F for furniture. Furniture is turned on. All the subcomponents of furniture is turned on, so it's a mystery. Don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go back over to Revit City. I'm typing in fireplace, and we'll just say search for that. So we search for fireplaces. This looks pretty good. Fancy. Yeah, that's good enough. Download. And I can see that Revit City is processing that. So we'll give it a second to do that. All right, so then it downloaded it. I'm going to open the file, and again, it has to upgrade. 2017, that particular family was made. Since we're working on 2015, we have to upgrade it to our current version. And then we'll be able to load it into the project. Oh, wow, it's even got logs in it. So that looks pretty cool. Load into the project. The one we want is the class project. That's the one that's selected, but there's some other possible loading options, but we don't want that. So that's going to load right into the project, and then it generally is attached right to the mouse cursor. Sometimes it's not, which means then you have to go over to the component and pick it. So let's see if it's attached to my mouse cursor or not. We're waiting. There we go. And yes, it is. Now, in the event that it doesn't attach right away, then you simply go over to the architecture component and pick that fireplace. Now, I want it to be, looks like this way. So I'm just hitting the space bar. Let's see. I would think that that's possibly where it's supposed to be. I don't know if Revit would know that I want this to be, whoops, we're not in the dimension drawing, so the dimensions wouldn't show up without turning them on, and we have a drawing that has the dimensions visible. Let's see. Revit didn't make it equal because It didn't know that I wanted it equal between here, and it probably thought maybe between this wall. I don't know what it thought, but anyway, we'll just say equal. And now we have them equal. So I want to delete this guy. I'll just click on that, delete, and say okay. And now I think my fireplace is probably in a good spot. We're going to take a picture of that just to see what it looks like. I guess that's all right. Looks like I'm going to have to cut a hole in that wall. So let's do that. Oh boy. Let's see. The best way to do that might be here. Drag this over and flip it. Go to view. And no, I can't see it here. Interesting. Why? Well, let's take a look at the depth of field. See, the depth of field of my section doesn't go all the way. That's the dashed line, doesn't go all the way to the fireplace. I can nudge the section line over. Now my depth of field does go all the way. Go to view. Now we can see it. And I want to put a void in to cut out that gypsum board that's in that wall there. So let's see how to do that. First, I'm going to put in a reference plane, which is right here. And I'll drag it all the way down. Give it a name. Call it fireplace. And you'll see why that makes things just a little bit easier. Go to view, component, drop down, model in place. It's really in a wall, so we'll come down and put it in the wall family, but it's not quite too concerning to me. We're going to do a void form, void extrusion. We're going to pick that plane. That's going to be our base plane. And let's go, I'm just going to draw a rectangle that goes from here down to here. And let's say it's minus a foot plus a foot. So from that plane, it goes back a foot and it comes out a foot. And we'll say, okay. And let's see if we cut now, what happens? Didn't cut anything. Okay. We didn't pick this. Okay, so let's see. I'm thinking what to do. All right, let's try to do it this way. I'll go to this view. You can see through the firebox here. We just want to cut this open. So what is this? That's my void space. We want to cut this guy. I don't know if it did it then either, so just kind of struggling here. That we definitely don't want to see. That we're not interested in either. I have way too many tabs open, and if you do this little drop down here, you'll see that I have even more. So I'm going to close inactives. Let's just take a picture of it. I'm sure I didn't cut the opening. Yeah, I have the void there. Let's see if we can pick this wall and then cut it by selecting this wall and this guy. No, should be. The void is there. All right, I'm gonna leave that and go to the last thing. We'll figure out how to do that later. So let's put some more of these door walls, create similar. We'll put one here. Looks like we have room for 3. And we'll put one on both sides of the fireplace. Also, put one here, we'll put one here. Now we can locate them. We want this one to be in the middle. So we're going to go from here to here to here. We want that to be equal. Okay. And then we're going to go from the midpoint of here. There it is. To the midpoint of here. To the midpoint of here. And we want those to be equal. Let's see what happened there. Yep. So now those 3 are, but we lost this one. All right, that didn't work, so we'll make that equal because that's the one we want to be equal. Now equal. Okay, that worked. We'll do the same thing down here. Let's change it to hidden line. And we'll come over here to here. We want it to be centered on that firebox. Well, maybe we'll center it on the opening. Okay. And then we'll just say equal. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll go from the hearth, really is what that is. It's a non-combustible material in the floor. So in case the logs throw out a tinder or something that's firing, that has fire on it, it won't burn the floor. I usually make mine bigger than that, deeper into the room. Unconstrained, I'm just deleting the I'll try to figure out why that firebox didn't cut. It's operator error, definitely my fault. I have my extrusion in there. So now you can see I have the windows. See how this looks different than that? So I think this one's in backwards. And this one looks different than, let's hit the space bar, it should flip it. Yeah, okay, so all 3 of them, I think they belong on the outside though. I think this one is right. Whoops. So all we're gonna do is just click on this guy, hit the space bar. That flips it. Click on this guy, hit the space bar. That flips it. Click on this guy. No, it didn't do it. Hit the space bar. Let's click on that one. Didn't. Neither did that one. Space bar. That looks good. Space bar. That looks good. Now the wood color should be on the inside. That's what I'm looking at to see that there's a difference. All right, so we're fine tuning this. We put some floors in, put a little bench in the back there. Save it. Starting to look better.